Hey, 4xe fans. This is video. I gotta tell you, I don't like making videos over the same subject, but just having some thoughts here in the past week that I wanted to share, get your thoughts on this. And that's in regards to how Jeep and Stellantis are responding to the current issue with the 95B recall. The issue, of course, is with the batteries in these 4xEs. And, you know, when I pulled out that letter a few weeks ago that mentioned the B9A recall and that this was basically a continuation of the B9A recall, I was really disappointed. And my faith in Jeep and Stellantis dropped a bunch because it affirmed for me something that I had already understood, in that they had mishandled B9A. Their database on B9A was not adequate, and their response to that issue was not decisive, it was not complete, it was not holistic. And yes, I'm being critical, and I think it's okay to be critical when you see something happening like this. And I think Stellantis and Jeep have both, and I'm going to put the blame on Stellantis for this, because I feel like Stellantis is the problem with Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, all four right now. I think those four companies are a mystery to Stellantis. I don't think they should have ownership of those companies. They don't understand the American market, obviously, and that has been proven over and over again over the past year. And there are many in the industry that are saying that same thing, that these companies are struggling under the weight of Stellantis. Or Stellantis. I don't know if I say that wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm saying that wrong. It's kind of like the Sahara thing. I don't know what's right with these things. But here's the miscalculation I think that is going on, regardless of which company it is. The indecisiveness and the lack of leadership in responding to this situation cannot go by silently. When you look at how other companies have handled situations like this, when GM had the issue with the Chevy Bolt, they stepped up to the plate, they made things happen decisively and boldly, and they replaced batteries and bolts like crazy. They bit the bullet and they did what needed to be done, not what the shareholders would like them to do and not what their portfolio would like them to do, but what absolutely needed to be done for the sake of the customer. And here's why I think Jeep has to make a fast decision on this. There is a huge percentage of 4xe owners that are new to Jeep people, that this is their first Jeep. Now, I'm in the wireless communications business. I work for AT&T. And we're supposed to identify that when we make videos in reference to things about AT&T. I'm an AT&T employee, and I'm not saying anything that is proprietary or anything like that. This is well understood information. In the communications industry, we have what's called churn, and churn is when a customer says, "This phone is not working. I am done with insert provider here." So they might say, "I've got friends that have an AT&T phone. Theirs seems to work all the time. Mine does not, and I'm on Verizon. So therefore, I'm going to draw the conclusion that I need to switch from my Verizon phone to AT&T like my friends." Or it could go the other way around. You could have somebody who has an AT&T phone and has horrible service, and they just say, "You know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm switching to T-Mobile." Now, what AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, all three understand well is that when you lose a customer, the odds of you getting them back anytime soon is slim to none. And if you have a customer that leaves and never comes back, or if they come back in 10 years, that's 10 years of lost revenue. And I don't think Jeep is processing the long-term implications of their lack of making things happen with this issue. I can't tell you how many people I have received messages from or seen posts from in the 4xe fans group that they were like, "This was my first Jeep. I've had a horrible experience. I am now going on and I'm going to get a Tesla Model Y, or I'm going on and getting a Ford Bronco, or there's a lot of people that are looking at that Scout that's coming out. I mean, there are people that realizing that they have options. They don't have to stick with this Jeep Wrangler. There are those of us that are committed to it. There are those of us that, I wanted a Jeep Wrangler for years. I went 21 years between Wranglers. I had a 95, well, I started off with a 78 CJ5. I had an 81 Scrambler, and then I bought a 95 Wrangler new, sold that when my first son was born, and, because it didn't have air conditioning as a stick shift. It just wasn't friendly for having kids and stuff. And so I went 21 years like wanting to get back into a Jeep Wrangler. I'm in a Jeep Wrangler because I want to be in a Jeep Wrangler. And that's my desire. That's my personal desire. But for a lot of people, that's not a root desire. They like the ability to take the doors off. They like the ability to take the top off. But not everybody wants those things. Some people just want the Sky One Touch, and they don't take the doors off. They don't do anything but put that top back, and they've realized I can do that in some other vehicles or something similar. And so I don't think Jeep is realizing the churn impact that could be happening to their brand through this issue, where people who are first-time Jeep owners are now last-time Jeep owners. And they've already taken a hit over the years in market share in the United States. And I just feel like they're not embracing this issue quickly enough and well enough. This should have been dealt with in B9A. We saw that it wasn't. We saw the number of batteries that went bad after B9A that were not attributed to B9A. They just were replaced. And I don't know that there's any correlation to going, well, this is the problem that we issued this recall about. And there were also people who had fires after B9A was done, and they weren't on the B9A list, but they were on the 04B, and they hadn't had those important updates done that are part of the 04B, and they lost their Jeeps. So with all this going on, I just think it's a leadership issue somewhere, that they are not taking fast, decisive action for the sake of their own future, let alone for the sake of all of us that are owners. So Jeep, you got to do something. You got to move. You got to make something happen. If you are new to this channel and you're seeing this for the first time, I have a petition called We Want to Charge at ipetition.com that you can sign, where we're asking Jeep for a couple things. One, transparency. Two, asking for extended warranties. For those of us who are committed to the brand, committed to having a Jeep Wrangler, but right now, to be honest and blunt, and pardon my language, we're being screwed right now because we're burning through our warranty on what is a bad product. And I don't think it's asking too much for Jeep to extend warranties. I'm in a place right now where mentally I'm thinking about the fact that I've got 62,000 miles on. I'm 40,000 miles away from my 100,000 mile warranty expiring. And I'm not convinced that Jeep has a well enough designed battery for me to keep this thing outside of the warranty. I don't want to get stuck with what is a known bad issue and then having to pay for it out of pocket because they had a design issue, or they had an implementation issue, or they had a battery management issue. Whatever it is, I don't want to get stuck with that. And so, we just got to be honest about this, and we've got to ask Jeep, step up. Make the tough call, do what needs to be done for the sake of the customers that already own these things, and for the sake of your future customers who may just be walking away from the brand forever. Thanks for watching.